What is going on, everybody? It's Jay, aka it's A3 Story here, back with another Phantom Parade Showcase video, and this time the final Tower Showcase for Aloha Yuji. Now, this one has been one that I've been pretty excited to do. Probably the most excited out of any unit I've really approached this year, because everybody has been hyping up to me that this unit becomes basically godlike at A3. And a lot of people have also been saying beforehand that this unit was only useful at A3. Now, obviously, if you've been watching the A1 and A0 performances, that is not really the case. But I'm wondering, how different is A3 from A1 and A0? Is it relativistic? Is he a completely new unit? We're going to watch my pre-recorded runs, and we're going to have a conversation about it for about 20 minutes or so. Basically, during A3, he gets another SP, which is tragic for the free-to-play player base because getting A3 on a unit is not exactly an easy task to do. So, his SP for his A3 status is actually probably the most broken thing about his overall kit, which is his critical hit enhancement passive. So basically, whenever he performs a critical hit or a black flash, he increases his own crit rate by 20% for 4 turns. On top of that, increasing his own black flash rate by 10% for 4 turns. And then on top of that, increases his own taijutsu stat by 50% for 4 turns. Mind you, this is a special status, so it cannot be stacked, buffed or nerfed. So this is just kind of a universal thing that he just has set up. On top of that, to himself and the ally that's in front of him, he increases their ultimate gauge fill rate by 10% for 4 turns. So all in all, this second SP that he gets at A3 is a very, very heavy one. However, you will see in this video that it really only changes, I guess, the clear speed of one floor when you're using him as a main DPS only. You will mainly notice the difference in A3 when you look at the stat sheet, right? When you look at the numbers, that is when you'll realize, like, oh man, this is definitely an A3 unit. Because when you're watching the gameplay, oh, by the way, 16 mil black flash, mwah. But when you're watching the gameplay, you would think like, oh, like it kind of just looks the exact same. And don't get me wrong, it basically is. It was a 9-turn clear at A1. It's a 9-turn clear here. The only difference is that Yuji mauls the boss for about a solid 10 million more damage than his A1 counterpart. Because with his A1 counterpart, during this run in specific, Yuji did 94 million during the A1 fight. And during this one, I believe he does 105 million overall. So we cracked that over 100 million threshold during this floor 85 run, which, again, may not seem like a lot, but a 10 million damage difference is a pretty sharp one. Already on a pretty quick clear anyway. But as y'all see here, we're going to lay down the law, and then it'll kind of show, the overall stat sheet. Which is why, if any of you that have been watching these showcases, you're wondering like, Jay, why are you using the exact same team over and over and over again? It's for the sake of comparison, okay? So when you're watching these showcases, you can go to each and every single one of them and be like, okay, what's the difference between A0, A1, and A3 in the exact same format and basically the exact same team and the exact same, I guess you could say, game plan, right? So you'd be like, all right, you can have a literal visual distinction on how this unit works. Now, mind you, I did add an extra run in between. So this extra 85 run is actually using my floor 89 team on 85. Now, this one was also a 9-turn clear, but funnily enough, I also believe it could be an 8-turn. But the RNG on trying to, I guess you could say, balance out which units lose their cursed energy in this fight is so painful. And I have other videos I have to make. So if I were to optimize like a quicker main DPS clear on 85 without 0.2 Gojo, that would be for another day. I mean, come on, we have all the time in the world to be running it up with Yuji. But the reason why I included this in the showcase is because Yuji hits a very gross number during this run with a solo ult. So the biggest combo ult that we saw on the 85 run with the previous team that I used was, I believe, 38 million. The singular ult that Yuji does, because he didn't co-op with Miguel during this run actually. Miwa and Miguel combo ulted together, and then Yuji went in solo. Yuji's solo ult did 44 million straight up on his own, and I was flabbergasted because I'm like, in what universe is it really that necessary to have this guy just dropping atom bombs like that? You're gonna see it right here. I didn't stop the record. Well, I didn't stop the recording. I didn't hit the pause button so I can see the scoreboard. But just know that, you know, it's Ghost Story that was like not commentating, just playing the game. I was like, oh wow, that's a pretty big number, you know. So all in all, the A3 performance on 85, it's not a, I guess, a speed difference in terms of his main DPS performance. It's more of just a numerical change that you'll see. And that's really it. You're just gonna see big number, like 44 mil. Not necessary, because you're gonna clear in like the exact same way, no matter what. I mean, obviously, like I said, you could possibly do this faster. I got really close to 8 turns before, but again, the RNG stuff, if I somehow manage to manifest me being able to do content full time, maybe I'd be able to sit and try and do like these quicker clears. But your boy has to go to work at some point, and you know, like I kind of like my free time a little bit. But another 16 mil skill 3, it's wonderful. We love it here. But yeah, this is where the run, I guess, I wouldn't say falls apart, but it's like you really notice that CE drain starts killing this team on this floor in specific, which is why I like the alt loop team so much. That's why I flexed the stat 100 million. Already, not even an overkill damage. Like, Yuji's already did over 100 million by himself. And I'm ending it off with a Yuji solo ult right here. And you'll be able to see basically Yuji's solo stat with no wreck bit. Also, I believe basically missing a turn of buffs from Miwa as well, because she had the skill 1. Still doing 16 mil, despite lacking a buff turn, which is really solid. But yeah, 2 back-to-back 9-turn runs. And then we have limited tower floor 4, where it's also, again, 12 turns. Now, you may be wondering, again, what's the difference? And in all actuality, I'll say it over and over. The difference, again, isn't on a turn basis. It's a numerical one. When you finish looking at this run, maybe when you finish watching this video, you can go back and watch the A1 video, and you can see basically how, I guess you could say, the damage was cut up between all the units in the fight. And then you get to A3, and Yuji is him carrying the entire team on his back, doing 170 million of the damage by himself. So that's the thing to keep in mind. Now, after using him at A3 to this degree, it made me realize the people that were saying that in order for you to make this unit good, he must be A3 are out of their minds. Because the turn difference, but upon using the same strategy across 3 different videos, the only difference in clear speed that I had was on floor 89. So on a relatively consistent basis, you can just get away with just his A1 performance. Now, obviously, will his A3 values be better? Of course. Will A3 assist his game plan so much more? Of course. I mean, do you see how much that critical hit enhancement passive does? It's a lot. It does a lot for this unit, but that's the thing. I love to say this. It's not a necessity. All right, that's the thing. It's cool, it's nice, but it's not a necessity. And I feel like if any evidence would need to be shared, it would be the basically, I would say, after I get like the A3 sweep video done, we would basically have almost 2 hours worth of Yuji footage, basically going over like the same team over and over and over again, testing, me talking to you guys in the Discord, just straight up displaying this unit across his different awakenings to see his, in quotation marks, usefulness, right? And my goodness, you could see those black flashes. They look beautiful. And by black flashes, there was 2, but it's still beautiful nonetheless. And yeah, that's kind of just the main feel that I have for this unit, because again, if this unit needed A3 to be prosperous, I would be the first guy to tell you. All right, like, don't get me wrong, y'all. A lot of y'all know I'm a dedicated Yuji fan, but I'm an analytical man first and foremost. So I wouldn't want to spread any lies, any propaganda. If this unit needed A3, I would have told y'all he needed A3. But again, he can clear content consistently at A0. He already curb stomps tower at A1. A3, I'm gonna say this, A3 is for the whales, because realistically speaking, unless you're like purposely going out of your way to speed clear content, chase world records, go for like high damage nuke numbers to compare with your friends online, you don't need A3. You really don't. A3 is overkill. There were times where I was looking at Yuji's stat sheet and I'm like, outside of like creators sweating to like basically flex how good they are at the game or how quick they can clear content, this is so unnecessary. It's like the damage is so ridiculous. It is genuinely unnecessary. Which is why I would say Yuji at A3 is a free-to-play player, not free-to-play, a pay-to-win player's dream. Like, it's kind of like a power fantasy. That's really it. Like how, you know, some people, how do I say this? They would like their games with like a little bit more freedom, a little bit more expression. You know, you grow into like this god, right? Those are power fantasy-esque games. Yuji is a power fantasy-esque unit, and that is the best way I can describe him. Like, at A3, Yuji is a power fantasy unit. At A1, he's already a solid meta unit. I can't believe the community tried to gaslight me to see otherwise. Because A3 isn't needed. If you need A3, you're greedy. If you need A3, you are greedy. There's no other way to cut it. I'm telling you, y'all just gonna have to trust me on that, okay? Because I'm running the exact same strategy. The A1 and A3 clear speed, right, is the exact same. It's just the amount of damage that Yuji is doing on a per turn basis is now absolutely dwarfing the rest of the team. Where it's like, geez, dude, like if I were to remove part of the screenshot and just show Yuji's stat sheet, it would be like a solo carry. That's how ridiculous it is. Mind you, we're gonna see the full stat sheet at the end right about here after we get another full animation, because come on now, I love to see a full animation on an ultimate. I mean, I remember when I used to do live commentary so consistently, I would always love to go for the full animation on the ult. And y'all peep here that before it was really relative, right? The damage stat between everybody, and then we're here. I'm sitting here, I'm looking, I'm like, oh my. Like, it's night and day. Like, the previous run, Miwa had a 31 million damage ultimate, and I don't even think Yuji wanted to see that again. Because he just chunked through the content with ease. But with 89, main DPS, I was on a mission, okay? Shout out to Discord member and subscriber, The Beast. I was actually talking about my 12 turn main DPS clear, 489, and I'm like, I wonder how much faster I could make the run at A3. And he initially brought up, I think you could try 9 turns. And I'm like, can I do 9 turns? And originally I did 10 turns. 10 turns where it was 1 million or less than a million HP from 9 turns. And I'm like, oh man, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that I did not get 9 turns. So that, it was basically fueled by the subscriber motivation. You know what I'm saying? You, the people, y'all at home supporting me. I had to do it. I had to do the 9 turns. And for some reason, I have no idea why the recording on my end is like so jumpy for this 89 clear. But then again, my laptop has been working absolutely overtime. So y'all can't blame me, okay? Just marvel at, you know, the gameplay, I guess. Because it's not going to last that long. Because we have 5 more turns until the boss is like, you know, destroyed in the first place. But the great thing about A3 is that the break damage is even easier to accumulate because he's just that much stronger alongside his passive. And then on top of that, because his break damage is so much stronger, we can bring other rec bits besides healing rec bits because the boss is simply going to die before we ever have to heal in the first place, which is a wonderful thing. And my goodness, the gameplay is so choppy. Everything else is normal besides the 9 turn 89 clear. Yuji's so strong, he broke OBS. But all in all, A3 is not a necessity like everybody tried to make it seem like. A3 is overkill. A3 is borderline unnecessary. A3 is scary. That's the best way I'll put it. A3 is scary. Because in what universe does a unit like Yuji at A3 able to clear floor 89 in 9 turns? I also believe 8 turns is potentially possible. Like, there is a place in my heart that I believe if you got lucky with non-stop black flashes, that 8-turn main DPS no 0.2 Gojo is 100% a possibility. But you don't need this. That's the thing. Like, it's so unnecessary. Why is he so strong? that's the crazy part. He can stay the whole fight, but he clears content like if he has to leave. That's the best way I'll describe this unit. That's actually a phenomenal way to describe it. He's a unit that clears content like he has a turn limit, but he does it, and that's scary, right? And mind you, the way the fight ends is even funnier for me because he ends it with a black flash on a skill 1. Just like that. Boom. In slow-mo. You'd love to see it. But let's get to that final unit review. The A3 final unit review. Y'all can peep the stat sheet. But yeah, that's 9 turns on floor 89. He's too much. He's far too much. So let's go to that final unit review. Don't you say? Final A3 unit review. What can I say about this guy? He is probably the first unit in the game that I could ever say that when he's at A3, he feels like an A5. It's really, really ridiculous. Now, will I say that A1 and A3 are comparable in some ways? In terms of clear speed, yes. In terms of power, no. If you use alternative strategies, you can clear far faster on floors with A3 Yuji. But A1 gets the job done. Y'all already seen in previous videos, well, right? The A1 showcase. A1 can get the job done. A3 is overkill. If you believe this unit needs A3, there is a problem. Because he is a problem. He's too strong. He hits too hard. His team is falling behind in comparison to all the damage that he is already doing. I will say that his critical enhancement passive, it's very helpful. That black flash rate, it comes in clutch. The 50% P-Tech increase clutch, 10% ultimate gauge fill rate increase comes in clutch. However, the main question that is in everybody's heads whenever they discuss this unit is if he's mid and bad at A1 and A0 and only good at A3. I will say this from a personal experience, right? I've been using this unit since Thursday. We are now at Sunday, all right? A0 is an acceptable unit, right? He is able to clear content fairly well. With a little bit of healing rec bits on 89, he can still get the job done at A0. A1 is already an amazing unit. Just flat out, one of the better DPSs. Top of the line DPSs in the game, no doubt. Not anywhere close to mid, not anywhere close to okay, not anywhere close to bad. The idea that he's bad or mid at A1 is an overblown idea. It is a ridiculous notion from people that I just genuinely believe didn't fully give this character a chance before pumping all their uni dupes or spamming dupes to get him to A3. Not enough testing was done in the A0, A1 phases for a lot of people who use this guy before jumping into A3. Because when you experiment at A0 and A1, you truly realize just how much of a jump A3 is in comparison. A3 is too strong. It's too strong. That's the thing. But is it necessary? No. Okay? And he's not just good at A3, he's phenomenal. Okay? Number one blue taijutsu, no doubt. Because he's a unit that fights like he has a term limit, even though he doesn't. And that is amazing. Especially because fights nowadays are getting more HP than ever before. Back in the day, we used to think 200 million HP was something special. And then we have the current domain investigation event that we have going on in the game. That's about to leave in a couple days or so. Having over 300 million health for the final boss. So as HP bars get bigger, you know, units that have turn limits, I'm not going to say 0.2 Gojo is going to age out because he can work well with Yuji, for example. But you're going to really enjoy having this unit that's going to be able to stay the entire time and beat content up like he's going to leave. That's the fun part. But here's the thing. With this unit, I'd really only recommend him for spending players. That's the painful part of this all. If you are not a paid player, I still wouldn't really tell you to gun for Yuji. Because as a free-to-play, you have such limited resources throughout the entirety of the year. And you really want to invest more in your overall support units, you know? Supports last longer than DPS units. Now, mind you, there has been some DPS units in the game's history that has lasted years, even though the game's only been out for 2 years. It's 2.5 anniversary on JP. But still, there has been units that came out year 0 or year 1, however you want to say, and still are good to this day. This unit is monstrous for the current content we do have. But again, you have to prioritize your supports, all right? If you don't have phenomenal supports, your DPSs are going to look mid. That's the name of the game for Phantom Parade, which is why I always recommend free-to-plays, please make sure to summon on your support units, because at the end of the day, there is no DPS unit that looks great without great support. That's the name of the game, man. It's the name of the game. But my final conclusion on A3 Yuji, unnecessary. So unnecessary, I want A5. That's how greedy I am. It's a paid player's dream. If you're a paid player and like you get a dopamine rush from very, very strong things, Yuji is listen, man, go for Yuji if you really want to. Like the devs really wanted you to whip out the wallets on this one. I did, I guess. And yeah, they caught me. They caught me. I'm sorry. I'm a part of the problem. I apologize. But free to plays comfortably. You don't need this guy. But if you pulled him, right, don't be upset that you did. He's a great unit nonetheless. Don't believe me? Go back to the A1 and A0 showcases and then come back to me. Okay? All right, we're cool. Capiche? There's still one more A3 Yuji video I'm going to post. It's going to be a sweet video. But then the great saga of Aloha Yuji videos will come to an end. So, thank you guys for staying tuned with me for the Tower Showcases. Let me know in the comments down below if you watched all 3 Tower Showcases, A0, A1, and A3. I would love to be able to give your heart, well, not give your heart, give your comment a heart, right? You know what I'm saying? Give it a like, dap you up in the comment section. Let me know if my showcases have changed your perception of this unit, because I feel like I've been fighting a very uphill battle at this point, because I already knew. I expected a lot from this, right? Because I knew the general idea behind this unit, and all I can think is like, I'm probably gonna get slammed by the community. That was my main thing. Like, my main fear was like, oh wow, like the community is gonna really try and body slam me over my takes. But hopefully these showcases have changed some minds, or maybe opened some minds to this unit below the A3 threshold, because I do believe he does have something to offer at A0 and A1, even if some people can't see it for themselves or didn't experiment long enough to find out what he's capable of. But that's it for me. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord server. It's in the channel bio. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers, so please help your boy out. We're getting pretty close. You know, we're almost, 2,500 is pretty close, and then that's pretty close to 3K. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's been Jay, aka it's A3 Story, and I will see you guys later.